What in your life has disappointed you beyond words? Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Thanks. Realizing in my 20s that older people were just as immature and dishonorable as kids, only permanently so. Very scary moment. You grow up looking up to those people, and when the pedestal you put them on falls, you are looking down on them, still powerless to change the world. I've been posting about this lately. My former best friend and neighbor. He's a single dad of 2 special needs kids. I did a lot to help him out much of last year. Late last fall he either broke into my house or had someone else do it for him and stole quite a bit of money from me. When I confronted him about this, he physically attacked me. After everything I did for him, it hurts so bad someone could simply turn on you. The beatdown he gave me didn't make me cry. I took it. But later on, when I realized our friendship was a sham and he was only using me, I completely broke down. The American government, hands down. House prices. Really should have been buying up real estate in grade school law. Probably unpopular, but personally true for me. Friendship. Growing up, my group of friends were pretty toxic. After high school, we naturally went our separate ways, but there was a bit of an emotional scar. In college, I found a new group of friends who actually ended up being even worse and almost ruined my life. It has left me with such severe trust issues that I struggle to form meaningful friendships now. In college, you're always learning new things and meeting new people. You have a lot of fun and friends, and sure, you work a shit job that pays squat, and you have to study all the time, but you have this sense of accomplishment all the time, and you have goals in front of you. Once you graduate, everyone moves to different cities. You get different jobs. It's way harder to make friends, and time seems to go by at light speed. Additionally, any third space you want to hang out in costs a ton of money, and no one wants to actually talk and become friends. If I'd known life got this lonely and boring, I'd have tried to savor every moment of college. Myself. Love. Gestures broadly. Honestly, I think life is more about making peace with your failures than it is about racking up accomplishments. Most of us are never going to do the amazing things we hoped for as children. It's like the Rolling Stones said, you don't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you just might find you get what you need. That even in my 30s, I still haven't found anything that I feel passionate about, or that I have no skills that can help me out of poverty. The only thing I truly love is a woman who does not love me, and I try to better myself for her because I believe she deserves the best. Childhood. People kept telling me it was the best time of my life and that adulthood was a misery of obligations and responsibilities. Well, my experience of being an adult and able to have much more control over my own life, who I associate with, and what I do with my time is a welcome exchange for my responsibility, a free life where I had comparatively little agency. I was at this company for 10 years, and some of my best work was in the call center. As in, I may have been the best they've ever had, so they told me. So I got promoted to sales and laid off after 4 years. Looking to make a return, I applied in the call center. People were acting like it would be the biggest return since Jesus. I was ready to go and got a generic letter saying I wasn't qualified. I know the lower class has it the worst, but the American government is blatantly trying to prevent the middle class from moving up. There are plenty of programs to help people in poverty, but the middle class is always stuck paying a little too much for everything, so they stay where they are financially. Realizing that my entire worldview, I was an extreme Christian evangelical conservative, was completely wrong. And also that sexism is very much real. Marriage. Definitely marriage. Every day. I'm disappointed when I wake up, because I didn't die in my sleep. Call me a former optimist, but there was a time when for some reason I thought the Bezoses and Zuckerbergs of the world were going to use their brains and wealth to do good things for the world. Instead, they are contributing to its demise. Other people. I've done everything I could to try and make right with people, to help them, to give them support when they need it, to make sure they never feel the hurt and loneliness I feel every day in my life, and people take advantage of it and only see me useful in transactional situations. It's never reciprocated in any way. I just want one unconditional love relationship from one other person, or at least something that resembles something of a friendship. The last time someone reached out to me via text, phone call, was back in October 2022, and the last time someone reached out to me without needing anything as the primary motivation of them reaching out was July of 2022. I've reached out plenty of times to check on people I knew and offered to hang chat. How quickly people turned on each other out of confusion and fear over the last 3 years. Around 2 or 3 weeks ago I gave up my job and we gave up our home to fly across country to save my daughter and grandson from her abusive boyfriend. When we arrived he was in jail for choking her. He's left bruises on my grandson many times. He's tortured both of them. There's so much bad. And she's for months pregnant, and until we got there she hadn't had any prenatal care because he wouldn't let her go. We were either going to move in with her or we'd all go back to our state and get going again. She promised to provide the transportation for jobs if we stayed or to get back home, as we spent almost everything to get there. Well, he was released with a no-contact order. Didn't matter. He started whispering in her ear. Within a week he was back in the house, and within a couple days he kicked us out in the cold with no money. My daughter just stood there and let him, as she was signing custody papers for a friend of the family. This woman is a licensed foster parent. She just loves my grandson and avoided putting him in the system by doing it that way to take her son. So yeah, she basically let her abuser kick everyone that actually loves and cares about her out. She gave up her son for this pos. It's been 5 days. We're still stuck in this state selling stuff we've had stored for retirement to get back home. I'm just completely and utterly disappointed. I used to talk or text with her all day every day. Not talking to her now. Except I demand she sends me a text twice a day so I know she's alive, and if I don't hear from her I'll call the police to do a well check. That's absolutely the only thing I can do. Disappointed, devastated, and really angry. Creepy crawlers were a pretty monumental letdown. Also, Crossfire wasn't half as intense as I thought it was going to be. Life. My father drank the anti-vax Kool-Aid and died as a result. If only I knew, maybe I could have done something. We were supposed to take my kids to their first MLB game last summer. I had been dreaming of doing that with him since I was little. Now, it's a dream that will never happen. My wife decided that she no longer wanted to be married, not necessarily to me, just at all. She told me this 3 weeks after she left without an explanation at the time. We had just bought a house. Religion, an ex-friend of mine, my father, and the majority of my family. All my friends. Every person I've ever known who is even slightly successful. Vain, shallow, cruel, weak, delusional, and boring. I'm basically a recluse nowadays. My own mentality, how many times I've been fucked over by life. I feel like I've been dealt the short straw everywhere. Absent narc father, single mother, had cancer when I was a teenager, worked throughout high school and fell asleep in every class because I stayed up all night doing homework. I've had to move 8 times during my childhood. College revoked my scholarships because I worked too many hours and brought my household income up. My degree is not as useful as I thought. Started losing hair at 21 on meds to keep it now. My sister is a pathological liar who tells my narcissist father everything. Oh yeah, did I mention I'm trans, have Tourette's, and a whole host of stuff wrong with me neurologically speaking. I really feel like I should have a fucking break at some point. Life is not supposed to be just getting dicked down over and over until I decide to give up. Does it ever get better? Every time I turn on the radio and listen to what's popular. Beyond baffled at how vapid it all is. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. Force Awakens was fine since it was basically a remake of A New Hope. I was a bit annoyed by it, but I thought that maybe if they used this story as the base for something new, then it might be good. Then Last Jedi came out, and it was. So I kinda got what I wanted in a sense. But it wasn't a good movie and they made a lot of weird decisions, where it wasn't quite clear where they were going with it. But I thought if they at least stick the landing with EP-X, then it would have all been worth it. And they didn't stick the landing. Not even a little bit. Not even close. Rise of Skywalker is one of the biggest pieces of dog shit I've ever seen. And it's so bad, it retroactively made Last Jedi and Force Awakens even worse. The people I decided to surround myself with in my earlier years of life. The internet. My mother for never apologizing for how she let my stepdad abuse me daily for 14 years. I'm 43 now, being backstabbed by my entire family each at different times. Fuck them all, they are all dead to me. They won't get anything after I die either, left it all to animal charities. My country. What a pile of shit. My ex-best friend. Growing indoor plants.